Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, Mother Nature definitely had a little bit of things for us to deal with this past weekend, mainly in the form of wind, and then also a lot of severe weather around the area with thunderstorms and also associated strong winds and even a few tornadoes around the area. And that made fishing tough, honestly, especially with the wind. A lot of people were finding some lakes or looking for some lakes to get out of the wind or at least make it possible to launch a boat. And some people did and had some success, but again, over the weekend and on Monday, it was pretty tough around the area. The area of lakes that produced walleyes up in the northeastern part of the state this past week included Wabae, North and South Rush, and those two seem to be the two main ones that people were going to this past week as far as we're aware of. And then other lakes included Antelope, Big Stone, Reeds, Pickerel, Indian Springs, Swan, and then also Goose. On the southeastern part of the state, we're looking at Ponset, Thompson, Albert, Sinai, Campbell, Dry Lake by Willow Lake, and remember that road to getting to the boat ramp is still underwater, so a lot of people are putting off the road coming out of Willow Lake. Then other lakes include 81 Ponds, Diamond, as well as a few being caught at shore at Henry WPA, as well as Twin Lakes, which again is the trophy lake. And then as far as what guys are using to catch the walleyes, a lot of people now have resorted to pulling bottom bouncers and spinners as well as pulling plugs, covering a little bit more water. A few guys are still having some luck throwing jigs and plastics. Jigs and swim baits seem to be doing okay, but it seems like right now everything's kind of switching over to more of a leech crawler bite right now. And the Missouri River, up and down the river, continues to be doing very good. I mean, almost hot in some locations, so be aware of that. And some really nice fish, nice fat fish. And then as far as the crappie bite around the area, that's been impacted by the weather a little bit. But lakes that produced crappie this past week included Ponset, Thompson, Pickerel, Brant, Swan, Henry by Scotland, as well as Vermilion, and a few at Beaver. And then the perch bite has been up and down with the weather again. But a few lakes that produced perch this past week included Big Stone, 81 Ponds, Ponset, Thompson, as well as Diamond. And what have they been doing to catch the crappie and the perch? Nothing really special. A hook underneath the bobber with the waxworm or even small minnows or small pieces of crawler. Nothing too fancy at this point in time. The other thing I want to make sure you're aware of is that we have our restocking order from Rapala and VMC. As you can see behind me, we have a great supply of moon eyes, as well as slick jigs. So stop on by and get your selection of moon eyes again before they're gone. So stop on by here at the store. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that's weather. And we're mainly going to focus on lightning this week because I have heard a few close calls out on the river lately. A lot of times people will push it to the limit when it comes to lightning. The fish always bite best right before the storm, as we talked about before, and that's related to pressure. But when it comes to safety, there's nothing that endangers people's safety more than lightning every summer. Folks, the thing that you need to remember, if you hear thunder, you're close enough to the storm to be struck by lightning. Lightning can strike as far as 10 to 15 miles away from the thunderstorm. And so a lot of times on the river, people will say, well, that storm came out of nowhere. Storms don't come out of nowhere, folks. You're probably not paying attention to the weather at that point in time, or you're by a bluff and you can't necessarily see the horizon. So again, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. Also, if you're casting, there are different things that will show you that lightning is building up in that area, that difference in electrical charge. That's what lightning is, and it can build up around the area. How can you tell that? Well, if you feel your hair standing up on end, and those of us that are follically challenged in our stage of life, if your hair stands up on your arm, that hair is pointing to the opposite charge to that cloud. Just like the old balloon that we did when we were a kid. When you rubbed the balloon on your chest and held it above your head and your hair pointed it, that's the same thing that's going on right now. That's a sure indication that that electrical charge is building up and you're in that direct area where lightning may and can strike. The other thing is that when you're casting, a lot of times people will cast fire line or some type of braided line or even monofilament. Well, that line is made of glass, so it's a very good conductor of electrical current. So when you're casting and you see that line just go straight up and just hang there before it comes down, that's telling you that that opposite charge is building up and it's pulling that glass line, that monofilament or braid, pulling it up closer to the sky or into the cloud. It's not going to pull it all the way up, but it's pulling it up and it's keeping it suspended. So again, that's another good indication that electrical activity is building up around your area. Also, if you hear static on AM radio, and I know that there's not too many people that listen to AM radio anymore, but that's another indication that lightning is somewhere close by. Folks, there's nothing more critical than your safety, and we want you to be safe across the entire area, throughout the entire summer and throughout the entire year. By being weather aware and weather prepared, it will keep you safe. And lightning is one of those things that you need to be respectful of. Hopefully this little segment will help you remember that. And if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me here at the store at 605-336-9132. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd@DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And folks, before I end this week's report, I want to bring you up to date on a few different situations related to the COVID situation that continues to go on across the entire country. There is a rumor that a lot of people that are short on crawlers, that there's a crawler shortage due to the virus. Honestly, folks, I can't verify that, and I can tell you right now we have plenty of crawlers on hand. If you want to reserve a half flat or a full flat in bedding or in dirt, we'll be more than happy to help you out. All you have to do is call 605-336-9132 to reserve yours today. The other thing is that it is true that some tackle companies have had to close down due to the virus situation, and Rapala was one of them. But I can tell you, happily, I can tell you that we received our restocking shipment from Rapala. As you can see behind me, we have plenty of VMC neon moon-eye jigs. Also the sleek jigs, we have plenty on hand, and then also plenty of Rapala plugs and suffix lines. So feel free to stop on by, or you can also order it online. And don't forget to shop with us online as well at DakotaAngler.com. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! Thanks for watching, folks, and again, stay safe and stay healthy.